Plaintiff Daniela Nixon is suing her former daughter-in-law for the cost of a trip and emotional distress. Daniela and her son, Royce Mudriak, say they're devastated that the defendant has kept them from seeing Royce's 5-year-old daughter, especially since they claim the defendant abuses marijuana and stores it in her diaper bag. Defendant Sarah Mudriak says she wants Daniela to know that the reason she won't let Royce near her daughter is that he once locked her children in his home and threatened to kill them.
Remain standing. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding. Please be seated.
Daniela Nixon is suing her former daughter-in-law for the cost of a trip and emotional distress. How are you?
Good.
Talk to me.
Your Honor, I'm here today because I want to see my granddaughter, which I haven't seen in more than a year.
Really?
Yes.
How old is your granddaughter?
She's 5.
5, and what is her name?
Her name is Talia.
Okay.
It's her
Let's see
picture.
the picture. I'd love to see the picture. Oh, she's beautiful.
Thank you.
Who is standing with you?
My son Royce,
How
which
are
is
you,
Talia's
Royce?
father.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Good, good. Your mother hasn't seen your daughter in a year. When is the last time you saw your daughter?
I get to spend a little bit of time with her over Christmas.
So you haven't seen her in many months?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Tell me about what happened here. Why are you suing?
My son started dating Sarah about 6 years ago while she was pregnant with another man's baby. When the baby was born, my son treated him like his own son. They moved in together. 2 months later, he called me and he said, we're getting married. And my first question was, is she pregnant? And I was right.
With your child?
Yes, Your Honor.
That being Talia.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And the baby was born in June of 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And after the baby was born, things were looking good. Everything was okay for a few months until that fall when my son called me while he was out of town in a manager's training trip in Kentucky.
What do you do, Royce?
At the time, I was working as a store manager for KFC.
Okay. And he calls, what does he
He called him in the middle of the night. He was very upset and he said, Sarah wants to leave me. She wants a divorce.
Let me ask you this, Sarah. Did you call Royce and tell him I want a divorce when he was out of town at a meeting?
Yes, I did. He was physically abusive in the beginning of our relationship after I got pregnant with Talia. Physically abusive towards me, pushing me around when I was pregnant.
But let me ask you this. You hook up with Royce when you're pregnant with another man's baby.
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, he must have been at some point affectionate towards you.
In the beginning of the relationship, he was very affectionate and loving and awesome.
And then when you had this baby, what's the name of the first baby?
Jordan.
Jordan. When you had Jordan, Royce acted as Jordan's father?
Yes.
So things were good for a while.
Mm-hmm. After I got pregnant with Talia, he started being more controlling. I wasn't allowed to go out and do things unless he was with me. I couldn't have a cell phone. I wasn't working. Because I would go and meet other people. And then after we got married, it just started getting worse. So I took the opportunity that while he was gone was for me and my kids to go.
Is that true?
I can understand I could be controlling. I've never been abusive, though.
How were you controlling, Royce?
Going out a lot. If, I'm at work and she's at home with the kids, I'd rather her stay home with the kids than going out all the time. She had a phone. She had access to that.
She did have a phone.
She had a phone.
So when she said she didn't have a phone, she's not telling the truth.
As far as I remember, there was a phone in the apartment, yes.
There was one cell phone, and he would have it when he went to work.
So when you were home, you didn't have a cell phone?
No.
You didn't have a phone?
Nope.
He didn't want you to have one?
Nope.
Mom, how did you reach Sarah when you needed to talk to her?
On the house phone.
We didn't have a house phone.
All right. So he's away on a trip, and what do you do?
I took the babies and I left.
Had you called the police at any point in time during the course of the marriage to complain about domestic violence, abusive,
No, I didn't.
Controlling behavior?
I didn't. After I left and I stayed with a friend for a week. And then I got my own place.
Okay, who's your friend?
His name's Bradley. I stayed with him for a while.
Bradley.
Bradley.
Who are you?
It's my mother-in-law. Yeah.
This is your mother-in-law?
Yes. It's my current
Are you Bradley's mother?
No. No.
Okay. All right. So why are we suing? Talk to me.
A few months later, Royce received divorce papers. And I found out that one of the main reasons for their divorce was the fact that she was smoking pot.
Were you smoking pot?
I wasn't smoking pot at the time. No, I wasn't.
At the time?
At the time.
Thereafter?
I moved out. I got my own place. Then we ended up reconciling. He was watching the kids while I was going to work. when I went and picked up the kids from his house one time, he locked the kids in his apartment, told me he was going to kill himself and the kids. I had called the police to try to get the kids back. They came out, said that he doesn't seem like a harm to them, so they left the kids with him. A couple days later, he was bringing the kids back to me, and I was going to watch them, and we ended up getting in a fight there. I was holding Talia, and I was feeding my son Jordan. He came, took Talia out of my arms, elbowed me in the face to get the baby and pushed me down. He grabbed my cell phone and he left with the baby.
Did you do that?
I remember getting Talia from her. I don't remember elbowing her at all.
How'd you get Talia from her?
Talia was in a stroller, and I took the stroller and I walked out with it, and she tried to stop me with the stroller, and I just pushed by her.
Why didn't you go to court and get custody? What's this about?
We were still working on it. There were a lot of things going on at the time.
Did you call the police?
The neighbors heard us screaming and they called the police.
Okay, and was he arrested for anything?
They couldn't find him.
Where'd you go?
I was actually at the Safeway at the street. They actually came and talked to me.
And did they bring the children back to Sarah?
No.
They left the children with you?
Well, Talia, my daughter, yes.
Just Talia. Jordan is where?
With me.
Okay.
So the police that came in and talked to me about it said that they believed that she was on drugs at the time.
Why did they believe she was on drugs?
The way she was talking to them, they told me that they thought she was. I told them that recently I had discovered a bag of pot in the diaper bag.
Pot in the diaper bag?
Yes.
No.
At first, I thought it was one of the babysitters, and I went to her work and I questioned her coworkers or managers. And finally, one of her
So why didn't you make a report, a CPS report? Call the police. Pot in your baby's diaper bag? Didn't that make you upset?
I threw it away right away.
If you went through so much trouble to find out if it was the babysitter's, why wouldn't you, nail her when you had the evidence?
I really wanted to save what we had, to save the marriage. And
Are
keep
you
us
kidding?
together.
If a woman's smoking pot and walking around with a baby and the pot's in the diaper bag, what's to save?
That's true.
All right, go ahead.
After that, we had gotten a divorce. We had joint custody. I was living with roommates in Surprise, working odd hours, trying to take care of myself and still be able to spend time with my daughter. Eventually, she couldn't stay with her friend anymore and ended up moving back to California with her mother.
And where are you living now?
Phoenix, Arizona.
So you're in Arizona. She goes to California.
Yes.
Where's Grandma living?
In Alabama.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Well, because she had left the state and moved to California, I retained custody of Talia, and she stayed with me. At the end of the year, at the end of 2005, Talia was about a year and a half old. We had one bedroom for the two of us. Me and her shared a bed, a loft bed. And there was an accident where she had fallen out of the bed on some clothes. And I needed to move out and find a place to live. It was a bad situation for me to have a child in while living with roommates. I needed to find my own place. And I called Sarah and I told her that, she hadn't seen her daughter in 7 months. I'll bring her out to you, spend a couple weeks with her. And
Did you make an effort to come and see Talia?
I filed emergency custody papers, but they said because I left Arizona that there was nothing they could do.
Oh, that's hogwash. Go ahead.
Well, I took Talia to California. I told her that, I'd let her spend a couple weeks with her while I got a new place to live and found a new job and got everything situated. It's hard to do that when you have a baby, and I didn't want my daughter to go through it.
Okay, then what?
The next Monday, I received a call from California CPS saying I'm being accused of child abuse and neglect.
Why?
She said that Talia seemed malnourished, and she had...
Was she?
The hospital told me that she was. She weighed 16 pounds at 18 months. Which is the average size of a 6-month-old.
Do you have a report?
Yes, I do, actually.
How come she weighed 16 pounds at 18 months?
After she had gone to California, my understanding is that she stopped eating as much.
This is filed on January the 5th?
Yes.
When did you get Talia?
I got Talia on the 29th. I took her to the hospital that
You don't
night.
lose that much weight in 6 days. Child was taken to the hospital with head injuries. The doctor said the age of bruising was inconsistent with the story of how the injury occurred or when the injury occurred. Initial x-rays revealed possible bleeding under the skull. The injuries occurred while in the care of father who failed to access medical treatment. Now, what's curious, Royce, is that the CPS report says that the date that you say Talia fell is inconsistent with their assessment of the age of bruising.
The only thing I could come up with when they talked to me about that was the only time I remember Talia being hurt. She was playing with a girlfriend I had at the time, and she had fallen on the tile floor from about a low height, maybe a foot or two off the ground. They were playing, and she fell and hit her head on the tile.
His roommates told me that she was being thrown in the air, like when you throw a baby in there and catch it, and she didn't catch her.
Look, here's the bottom line, Royce. While the baby was in your custody, she was not only injured seriously with bleeding under the skull. By the way, it's called a subdural hematoma, and a lot of kids die of this, okay? Social services in Arizona reported to me that they had found the allegations of the father's neglect in providing the child with necessary nutrition to be true. What's going on, Royce?
I
Come on,
gave her
Mom.
milk.
You
She
look
went
like
to
you know what's going on. Why is your son not taking care of this baby?
Actually, I was in Arizona because I go there every couple of months, and
Yeah.
I was there in 2005, and I fed her milk. So that's not true.
So why is your son saying she didn't drink milk? Are you saying the CPS worker's lying?
I'm not sure who wrote that, but
It was an
that's not true.
accusation.
This is an order of the Superior Court of California. You want the docket number?
Your Honor, he might not have won Father of the Year for that year that he
Clearly.
took care of his.
He was too young and immature.
He was, yes.
He's living with roommates. The baby's falling off the top of a bunk bed. The baby's malnourished. The baby's own mother has got her own issues, living in another state, doesn't go to court to find her own child. This poor baby. Where is this baby?
I have sole custody over now.
You're not smoking any pot?
No. I did do random drug testing through them. The first one did come up.
Aha!
The
So
first,
somebody else asked the same question.
well, because I requested him to do it. And when you do that, then you have to do it yourself. The first one did come up positive. From there on, they were all negative.
So you're suing for $300. Tell me why.
The $300 is for an agreement I had with Sarah last year when we had a death in the family, and I flew out to Arizona to be with my kids. And I asked her to. It was a very sad time, very emotional. We had family from out of town that never seen Talia before, and I asked her to bring Talia. We wanted to go pick her up, but I asked her, so can you bring Talia for a couple of days? And she said, I don't have any money. So I finally gave in and I said, okay, we're going to deposit $300 in your bank account. Here's the deposit receipt. That was the Friday before, one Tuesday was the funeral.
You got the $300?
Yes, I did.
Did she show up?
No, she did
You
not.
got your money back?
No, she never showed up.
Talk to me.
At the same time, we were discussing me going out there. Talia was about to start school. It was the summer before she was going to start preschool. And so we were discussing them helping me get her school clothes. So when they gave me the $300, then that was it. And she told me I wasn't able to get money for school clothes then. So I took the $300 and I bought Talia's
That's not
school
true, Your
clothes.
Honor. I send her money and clothes all the time. I bought tons of clothes for this child, and I send her every birthday and every Christmas. I send her money and clothes.
Do you have any proof that somebody died in July?
Yes, I do. It was Neofit Mudriak, my son's grandfather.
Thank you. Okay, so you think on the day that Royce's grandfather dies, she's calling you to discuss school clothes? Okay. What is your recollection of the discussion?
The same time that they were discussing me coming out there, I was also discussing with Royce the money for her school clothes.
Okay. The baby's here?
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, let's see her. Oh, my God. You haven't seen her in how long?
15 months.
And 6 for you? Oh, she's beautiful.
Come here. Hi, Talia. Oh, she knows her daddy.
She's got beautiful hair.
It's okay. You're on TV. It's a show.
Hi.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
You talk to her? No.
Sarah, I want you to tell her who's here, and I'd like you to take her over.
This is Daddy and Grandma Daniela.
Tell her they want to say hello.
Sweetheart. I know. Oh my God. My sweetheart. Oh, baby. Oh my God.
I think that most parents deserve the opportunity to see their children's children. And you have an obligation to accommodate them. And you know what, Sarah? I'm not going to say that you're right or wrong as it relates to this. If you want supervised visitation because you think that your baby has been abused, then you should get supervised visitation. But at the same time, they should see that baby. They love the baby. Okay? If the money was given on the condition that the defendant bring the child to Arizona, then the defendant has to pay the money back because she didn't bring the child to Arizona. But if the money was a gift, as the defendant alleges, for school clothes, then there was no breach of contract. Here she gets to keep the money. I think that based upon the corroborating evidence and based upon the fact that the Royce's grandfather died on the very day that the money was transferred, I think that that money was a conditional gift. It's $300. It was sent to bring the baby to Arizona for family to see that baby. As far as I'm concerned, the defendant owes the plaintiff $300 for money that she used for purposes other than the purpose that it was intended to be given for. Now, the emotional distress, the $500, I will not award you. There is no question that this is an emotionally distressing situation, but not one for which the law allows you to receive money. Your obligation right now, and in this country today, we recognize grandparents' rights. Your obligation is to go to court whenever you can or try to work something out with your son so that you can see this beautiful baby. Do what you can to get some kind of visitation. All right? You owe it to her. Verdict for the plaintiff. So ordered.
I'm not going to put her through anything else again.
Nothing's what happened to her. She is in my care. I raised 2 kids, and she's in more danger with Sarah actually than she is with me. I mean, she has boyfriends coming in and out all the time. She has 4 kids with 4 different fathers.